It's Apple conference time, and that can lead quite often to business and product surprises. But what's been happening to the stock price and where could it be heading next? I'm going to take a look. So from the weekly line chart, we can see that if you'd invested in Apple in the early part 2016, you could be up at one point over 700%. But 2022 hasn't been that great so far, down nearly 19%, improving where it was a few weeks ago. Now I've shaded that yellow block area, and that to me is a big zone of resistance for the price. We can see where it peaked in early 21 before pulling back, and that's where that price has stopped to the downside more recently before reasserting itself upwards to about $146, $150. But you can see sort of a weak head and shoulders building out, with the head all above that 78.6% Fibonacci line, the small shoulders to the left. And is this a new shoulder being created? If it is, downsides could be, like I say, into the bottom area of that yellow box around $110. If this is good consolidation point, then $180, $200, $220 not out of the question. On the 4-line break chart, we have buying areas around $147 if you're feeling more aggressive, and then more conservative $154.50. So a couple of numbers for you to consider. The daily Heikin-Ashi chart not painting such a great picture. At the bottom there, the signal's bearish, volatility quiet in the early 30s, and volume also down around its sort of moving average. Heading on to the price, long-term probability power box, it's almost a 50-50 play at the moment. From where it is, it's inside those institutional power zones, which could provide areas of support. We've got a sell signal on the 2 pink line box breakout setup, and trend has been sort of bumpy but sideways really for the last year. In the short term, on the Req'd chart, use a $1 block size for some aggressive action. We got our DMI at the bottom there bearish, and our signals above that both mixed, so pretty neutral at the moment there. Trend slightly down from early 22, which we've discussed in that weekly line chart. Left on some Fibonacci trend lines to give us some potential short-term targets. A downside 132 area where the lows were recently, and then 120 and 113 to the upside, 150, 163, 165 area, and then upwards through those highs of about $180. So some trade ideas for you. Jumped into First Trade Broker, options play, scenario, simulator builder, and a bit of a mixed bag where the price is at the moment. We saw from a probability calculator probably 50-50 sort of a zone at the moment. And if you're still bearish, there is a buying September 140 strike put, gives you enough time to get there. We saw from the weekly line chart that zone, that yellow coloured area, could prove an interesting point target area. And if we mess around with the price bit in the simulator there, price gets down to, let's mess around, say 120. Now I've put a hypothetical $10,000 in here. That trade's going to cost you $800 with a potential return of just over $1,100, 144% return, so not bad. On the flip side, if you are bullish, then we've got a October 160 strike call. Again, plenty of time, so it won't be as costly for you and gives you enough time for the price to get there. You think the tech stocks are on the rebound, Apple unleash some great new devices in the next week or during the conference, then this one could be for you. Great score, 203, going to cost you $655. Let's play around with the simulator again, and if it can get up towards those recent highs in the early 180s, you're talking a potential return of 250%, which is just over $1,600 on an investment of $655, so a pretty decent trade there. And then if you are weak bullish, a bit more neutral but still bullish all the same, an income generating trade for you here. It's the 135 140 put vertical spread, you're going to net yourself a capped $109 for such a trade. So 3 ideas for you there if you can play your options. What if you want to do spread betting and CFDs? So into my CFD spread trading brokers Trade Nation. Now the Apple stock price can be expensive and deter many that have smaller accounts. Now Trade Nation runs something called the US minis, which are about 10 times smaller than the traditional stock price. If we have a look if they've got Apple, yes they have. And there you go, Apple Computers mini rolling, market not yet open, so we haven't got the data. Not too bad. Leverage and margin requirement there as well. So another idea for you if you're not in the States or can't get to the options, then spread trading CFDs give you that upside. So in terms of a score then, I'm going for weak bearish overall. It's slowing down the downtrend, but as we saw in that weekly chart, is that a heads and shoulders pattern for further bigger move down, or is it consolidation area above like that yellow box zone that I drew on the chart there? Now we've got a couple of aggressive entries and to the upside in the 4-line break chart, $147, $154.50. Let's say Heikin-Ashi, Renko, a mixture of weak bearishness there. Probability power score, it's neutral, slightly favouring an up move at the moment, but those 3 colours, the P being neutral, T negative, and the I green, all a mixed bag, so you need them all pointing in one direction. And in terms of targets, 2.66, 6.8 to 1 to the upside, and 4.8 and 5.8 to 1 to the downside. So some decent returns to be had in either direction there for Apple, but at the moment overall weak bearish. So it's not great for Apple at the moment in terms of the technicals, but certainly not as bad as some of those rivals or tech stock companies that have taken a far bigger beating over 2022 so far. Maybe the conference will kickstart things to the upside. If not, we've seen the numbers, the charts to where the price could be headed down south. So where do you think Apple is heading next? Would love to hear your thoughts, bullish, bearish. Get those comments coming in. And if you like today's video, please give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. Good luck with the trading, and I'll see you in the next video.